We are awakening together. This is our weekly gathering we hold online. For more information, visit our website, awakening-together.org. We'd love to see you there.
You to the Sunday gathering. Please, I'm honored to be here this Sunday. Of course, very nervous, and I, I, I recently moved to New Orleans, so I've been here just a few weeks. So I'm still trying to get myself together here, my living arrangements, and so we are an assembly of equals, joined in common purpose, awakening to oneself, within an appearance of many faiths, many cultures, and many symbols. We seek to discern one truth and to rest in its embrace. We also have 5 core values, and we pick one of those to read during the service. And so the core value that I'm going to choose is: we realize everyone is equal and no one has been given spiritual intuition. That is an authority over the spiritual intuition of others. We live this value by listening to each other, respecting each other, and allowing each one to be where they are. Okay. And I'm not, so I'd like to open up with a prayer, and I just want to thank the powers that be that are giving us the opportunity to be together this way, in this manner, and for giving me the opportunity to share some of my inner world with you. I am profoundly grateful to have be a part of this group, or have found this group, and grateful that you are in my lives today. And I just pray that that you hear something, feel something that makes a difference in your life. So, amen. My talk today is from Nisargadatta, I Am That. And I've asked Joseph Schmitz to read, and it's kind of a long read. And it's from chapter 97 of I Am That. And so I'll turn it over to Joseph.
Right. Thank you, Deloris. Good morning, everyone. Sound okay? Sound okay? Yes. Happy to be here. And like Deloris said, it is a bit of a long reading, so relax, and we'll get going with it. This is from chapter 97 of I Am That, titled Mind and the World Are Not Separate. Questioner: I see here pictures of several saints, and I am told that they are your spiritual ancestors. Who are they, and how did it all begin? Maharaj: we are called collectively the 9 Masters. The legend says that our first teacher was Rishi Dattatreya, the great incarnation of the Trinity of Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. Even the 9 Masters, or Navnath, are mythological. What is the peculiarity of their teaching? Maharaj: its simplicity, both in theory and practice. Questioner: how does one become a Navnath? By initiation or by succession? Maharaj: neither. The 9 Masters tradition, Navnath Parampara, is like a river. It flows into the ocean of reality, and whoever enters it is carried along. Questioner: does it imply acceptance by a living master belonging to the same tradition? Maharaj: those who practice the sadhana of focusing their minds on I Am may feel related to others who have followed the same sadhana and succeeded. They may decide to verbalize their sense of kinship by calling themselves Namnas. It gives them the pleasure of belonging to an established tradition. Questioner, do they in any way benefit by joining? Maharaj, the circle of satsang, or the company of saints, expands in numbers as time passes. Questioner, do they get hold thereby of a source of power and grace from which they would have been barred otherwise? Maharaj, power and grace are for all and for the asking. Giving oneself a particular name does not help. Call yourself by any name. As long as you are intensely mindful of yourself, the accumulated obstacles to self-knowledge are bound to be swept away. Questioner, if I like your teaching and accept your guidance, can I call myself a Nabna? Maharaj, please your word-addicted mind. The name will not change you. At best, it may remind you to behave. At best, it may remind you to behave. There is a succession of gurus and their disciples, who in turn train more disciples, and thus the line is maintained. But the continuity of tradition is informal and voluntary. It is like a family name, but here the family is spiritual. Questioner, do you have to realize to join the Samprajya? Maharaj, the Nabnath Samprajya is only a tradition, a way of teaching and practice. It does not denote a level of consciousness. If you accept a Nabnath Samprajya teacher as your guru, you join his Samprajya. Usually you receive a token of his grace, a look, a touch, or a word, sometimes a vivid dream or a strong remembrance. Sometimes the only sign of grace is a significant and rapid change in character and behavior. Questioner, I know you now for some years and I meet you regularly. The thought of you is never far from my mind. Does it make me belong to your Samprajya? Maharaj, your belonging is a matter of your own feeling and conviction. After all, it is all verbal and formal. In reality, there is neither guru nor disciple, neither theory nor practice, neither ignorance nor realization. It all depends on what you take yourself to be. Know yourself correctly. There is no substitute for self-knowledge. Questioner, what proof will I have that I know myself correctly? Maharaj, you need no proofs. The experience is unique and unmistakable. It will dawn on you suddenly when the obstacles are removed to some extent. It is like a frayed rope snapping. Yours is to work at the strands. The break is bound to happen. It can be delayed, but not prevented. Questioner, I'm confused by your denial of causality. Does it mean that none is responsible for the world as it is? Maharaj, the idea of responsibility is in your mind. You think there must be something or somebody solely responsible for all that happens. There is a contradiction between a multiple universe and a single cause. Either one or the other must be false, or both. As I see it, it is all daydreaming. There is no reality in ideas. The fact is that without you, neither the universe nor its cause could have come into being. Questioner, I cannot make out whether I am the creature or the creator of the universe. Maharaj, I am is an ever-present fact, while I am created is an idea. Neither God nor the universe have come to tell you that they have created you. The mind, obsessed by the idea of causality, invents creation and then wonders, who is the creator? The mind itself is the creator. Even this is not quite true, for the created and its creator are one. The mind and the world are not separate. Do not understand that what you think to be the world. The mind and the world are not separate. Do understand that what you think to be the world is your own mind. Questioner, is there a world beyond or outside the mind? Maharaj, all space and time are in the mind. Where will you locate a supramental world? There are many levels of the mind, and each projects its own version, yet all are in the mind and created by the mind. Questioner, what is your attitude to sin? How do you look at a sinner, somebody who breaks the law, inner or outer? Do you want him to change, or you just pity him? Or are you indifferent to him because of his sins? Maharaj, I know no sin nor sinner. Your distinction and valuation do not bind me. Everybody behaves according to his nature. It cannot be helped, nor need it be regretted. Questioner, others suffer. Maharaj, life lives on life. In nature, the process is compulsory. In society, it should be voluntary. There can be no life without sacrifice. A sinner refuses to sacrifice and invites death. This is as it is and gives no cause for condemnation or pity. Questioner, surely you feel at least compassion when you see a man steeped in sin. Maharaj, yes, I feel I am that man and his sins are my sins. Questioner, right, and what next? Maharaj, by my becoming one with him, he becomes one with me. It is not a conscious process. It happens entirely by itself. None of us can help it. What needs changing shall change anyhow. Enough to know oneself as one is, here and now. Intense and methodical investigation into one's mind is yoga. Questioner, what about the chains of destiny forged by sin? Maharaj, when ignorance, the mother of sin, dissolves, destiny, the compulsion to sin again, ceases. Questioner, there are retributions to make. Maharaj, with ignorance coming to an end, all comes to an end. Things are then seen as they are, and they are good. Questioner, if a sinner, a breaker of the law, comes before you and asks for your grace, what will be your response? Maharaj, he will get what he asks for. Questioner, in spite of being a very bad man? Maharaj, I know no bad people. I only know myself. I see no saints nor sinners, only living beings. I do not hand out grace. There is nothing I can give or deny which you do not have already in equal measure. Just be aware of your riches and make full use of them. As long as you imagine that you need my grace, you will be at my door begging for it. My begging for grace from you would make as little sense. We are not separate. The real is common. Questioner. A mother comes to you with a tale of woe. Her only son has taken to drugs and sex and is going from bad to worse. She is asking for your grace. What shall be your response? Maharaj. Probably I shall hear myself telling her that all will be well. Questioner. That's all? Maharaj. That's all. What more do you expect? Questioner. But will the son of the woman change? Maharaj. He may or he may not. Questioner. The people who collect around you and who know you for many years maintain that when you say it will be all right, it invariably happens as you say. Questioner. You may as well say that it is the mother's heart that saved the child. For everything, there are innumerable causes. Questioner. I am told that the man who wants nothing for himself is all powerful. The entire universe is at his disposal. Maharaj, if you believe so, act on it. Abandon every personal desire and use the power thus saved for changing the world. Questioner, all the Buddhas and Rishis have not succeeded in changing the world. Maharaj, the world does not yield to changing. By its very nature, it is painful and transient. See it as it is and divest yourself of all desire and fear. When the world does not hold and bind you, it becomes an abode of joy and beauty. You can be happy in the world only when you are free of it. Questioner, what is right and what is wrong? Maharaj, generally, what causes suffering is wrong and what removes it is right. The body and the mind are limited and therefore vulnerable. They need protection, which gives rise to fear. As long as you identify yourself with them, you are bound to suffer. Realize your independence and remain happy. I tell you, this is the secret of happiness. To believe that you depend on things and people for happiness is due to ignorance of your true nature. To know that you need nothing to be happy except self-knowledge is wisdom. Questioner, what comes first, being or desire? Maharaj, with being arising in consciousness, the ideas of what you are arise in your mind, as well as what you should be. This brings forth desire and action, and the process of becoming begins. Becoming has, apparently, no beginning and no end, where it restarts every moment. With the cessation of imagination and desire, becoming ceases, and the being this or that merges into pure being, which is not describable, only experienceable. The world appears to you so overwhelmingly real because you think of it all the time. Cease thinking of it, and it will dissolve into thin mist. You need not forget, when desire and fear end, bondage also ends. It is the emotional involvement, the pattern of likes and dislikes, which we call character and temperament, that create the bondage. Without desire and fear, what motive is there for action? Maharaj, none, unless you consider love of life, of righteousness, of beauty, motive enough. Do not be afraid of freedom from desire and fear. It enables you to live a life so different from all you know, so much more intense and interesting, that truly, by losing all, you gain all. Questioner, since you count your spiritual ancestry from Rishi to Kshatriya, are we right in believing that you and all your predecessors are reincarnations of the Rishi? Maharaj, you may believe in whatever you like, and if you act on your belief, you will get the fruits of it. But to me, it has no importance. I am what I am, and that is enough for me. I have no desire to identify myself with anybody, however illustrious, nor do I feel the need to take myths for reality. I am only interested in ignorance and the freedom from ignorance. The proper role of a guru is to dispel ignorance in the hearts and minds of his disciples. Once the disciple is understood, the confirming action is up to him. Nobody can act for another. And if he does not act rightly, it only means that he is not understood and that the guru's work is not over. Questioner, there must be some hopeless cases too. Maharaj, none is hopeless. Obstacles can be overcome. What life cannot mend, death will end, but the guru cannot fail. Questioner, what gives you the assurance? Maharaj, the guru and man's inner reality are really one and work together towards the same goal, the redemption and salvation of the mind. They cannot fail. Out of the very boulders that obstruct them, they build their bridges. Consciousness is not the whole of being. There are other levels on which man is much more cooperative. The guru is at home on all levels, and his energy and patience are inexhaustible. Questioner, keep on telling me that I am dreaming, and that it is high time I should wake up. How does it happen that the Maharaj, who has come to me in my dreams, has not succeeded in waking me up? He keeps on urging and reminding, but the dream continues. Excuse me. Maharaj, it is because you have not really understood that you are dreaming. This is the essence of bondage. The mixing of the real with the unreal. In your present state, only the sense I am refers to reality. The what and the how I am are illusions imposed by destiny or accident. Questioner, when did the dream begin? Maharaj, it appears to be beginningless, but in fact it is only now. From moment to moment, you are renewing it. Once you have seen that you are dreaming, you shall wake up, but you do not see because you want the dream to continue. A day will come when you will long for the ending of the dream with all your heart and mind and be willing to pay any price. The price will be dispassion and detachment, the loss of interest in the dream itself. Questioner, how helpless I am. As long as the dream of existence lasts, I want it to continue. As long as I want it to continue, it will last. Maharaj, Wanting it to continue is not inevitable. Seeing clearly your condition, your very clarity will release you. Questioner, as long as I am with you, all you say seems pretty obvious. But as soon as I am away from you, I run about restless and anxious. Maharaj, you need not keep away from me, in your mind at least, but your mind is after the world's welfare. Questioner, the world is full of troubles. No wonder my mind too is full of them. Maharaj, was there ever a world without troubles? Your being as a person depends on violence to others. Your very body is a battlefield, full of the dead and dying. Existence implies violence. Questioner, as a body, yes. As a human being, definitely no. For humanity, non-violence is the law of life, and violence of death. Maharaj, there is little of non-violence in nature. Questioner, God and nature are not human and need not be humane. I am concerned with man alone. To be human, I must be compassionate absolutely. Maharaj, do you realize that as long as you have a self to defend, you must be violent? Questioner, I do. To be truly human, I must be selfless. As long as I am selfish, I am subhuman, a humanoid only. Maharaj, so we are all subhuman, and only a few are human. Few or many, it is again clarity and charity that makes us human. The subhuman, the humanoids, are dominated by tamas and rajas, and the humans by sattva. Clarity and charity is sattva, as it affects mind and action. But the real is beyond sattva. Since I have known you, you seem to be always after helping the world. How much did you help? Questioner, not a bit. Neither the world has changed, nor have I. But the world suffers, and I suffer along with it. To struggle against suffering is a natural reaction. And what is civilization and culture, philosophy and religion, but a revolt against suffering? Evil and the ending of evil, is it not your own main preoccupation? You may call it ignorance. It comes to the same. Maharaj, well, words do not matter, nor does it matter in what shape you are just now. Names and shapes change incessantly. Know yourself to be the changeless witness of the changeful mind. That is enough. Thank you.
Thank you, Joseph. Thank you so much for a very a good reading. I like the way it was very clear. And thank you again for allowing me to be before you today. And like I said, I recently moved here to New Orleans from Arkansas. So all of my things aren't here. I don't know if they'll ever get here. And a lot of my books are in Arkansas. And so when I found out that I had agreed to do this Sunday, I said, oh, what am I going to do? I don't have any books around. And I always remember when I went through the ministerial program that I loved, I Am That. And luckily they can get that on PDF. I know I could get some things off of electronically, but it was kind of easier to get the PDF. And I started a new job, so there's all things, in a new area, new place I've never lived. Started a new job, and so I'm heavily identified with my body. But anyways, but I've always enjoyed I Am That. And there were a number of points in it that really kind of struck me, especially that last one where he says, know yourself to be the changeless witness of the changeful mind. That is enough. I mean, I have 2 daughters and 3 grandchildren, and there's this one daughter who's been struggling a lot at work this week, and I've been her, and nothing I do changes. Nothing I can do for her changes anything, you know. And I just really can understand. I don't know with her if I could just stand back and just watch, but the way that I approach it, I feel like I can change something, and whatever it is has to play out. And I know for me and for her, it's this identification with this body. This is who I think I am, and I feel like identified with this body. I believe that I can be hurt, and I have fear, but being able to I have not disidentified with it. And I feel like every time that I hit a bottom, I came to awakening together, I think back in the mid 2000s, like 2011, 12 or something. And I had a bad breakup with a guy, what I thought was bad. And I was looking for something, and I just happened to be in an airport, and I came across Regina on a maybe a video of some sort. And I heard her, and then I heard about the book that she had written or had transcribed, and that was like did it. I was on that journey. I was on that. He mentions in here just stepping into that river. There was a river that he was talking about it's not so much that it's gurus or anything. It's this river, and you choose to step your river into that body of knowledge, you can be pulled along with it. And I think that's what happened with me. I stepped my toe into this river of awakening together now, and I had it pulled me along into this viewing and seeing the world more and more as one. Like I couldn't point fingers really, because I'm that person at any point, you know, at any time of the day or the week. And so like even with that with the movie that you're going to watch tonight or discuss tonight, that little boy, the every aspect of who he was, I think what you might be trying to get at is that the dragon and the little girl and the bow and the arrow and all the people that are against the dragons and the dragons against it's all of us, right? And but you know, I'm not disciplined. I know this. I'm not disciplined, and I don't put the effort in the things that I need to put the effort into. And that's just kind of who I am, and what shows to be. And so when I saw that I was to be doing the talk this week, I was like, oh God. So I've been traveling all last week. And I know that getting a message out does take time to get into that word. And you don't want to give a message to someone and to make them want to go out and and make them feel bad, you know. But I'm just not very good at being disciplined. And so, but I didn't want to be remiss in not doing and not agreeing to do something and not doing it. And I need to be better about it would be helpful for me because I struggle in this life, and especially being in this new place and area, I struggle with my thoughts, and I've done a lot of like meditation classes and retreats, and I do know the benefit of that. I do understand, and I am glad of having this sensation of being able to separate, to be able to watch my thoughts and not get caught up into what my thoughts are. And I kind of think that's what the Maharaj was saying to the questioner, that you're not your thoughts, you're not who you think you are. And one other thing he said was that the people who are considered like Maharajas or leaders, he was saying that, all of that is mythology as well. Because as a young girl, I grew up in the church, and my mother, she had ministers, and as a little girl, I just didn't really understand why he had more knowledge about God than you, or that. I didn't feel, I guess I didn't like the hierarchy of it all. And so I was always questioning. And so it's a good thing for me to be questioning. And so, like I said, I really do enjoy I Am That. It helps me it seems to bring some sort of reality to my thinking, that I am. It helps me not to blame and point fingers, and to take responsibility for my life or the sense of my life, and not blame someone else for it. And it was a long reading. Luckily, you have to listen to me. But I thank you all for listening to me for this time. And I'm going to close now. And so you can, I just wanted to remind you that you can donate to Awakening Together, either through the donate sign up there on the screen, or you can donate by clicking a link to donate to Awakening Together, or like through the QR code is what I said. And then it is a sweet time. That was from a soundtrack from the Ozarks, and during the pandemic, I would just watch the Ozarks, but I was really listening to a lot of the music, and that came from that. Would anyone else like to share? We've come to the area where it's open sharing, so would anyone like to share?
John?
Yeah, thank you, Reverend Deloris. Something kind of occurred to me when I was listening to you talk about, getting ready for the things that you need to do, preparing for this homily, this sermon, and excuse me, and it's what we run up against, or what we think we run up against, and it's this. We constantly run up against what we call ourself, ourself. This is me. This is what I've got. This is, I don't know how the hell I ended up on this journey. What am I doing here? All these questions that show. And one thing that I've noticed is, for me, it always came from, I'm not trying hard enough. I'm not doing this well enough. Kicking and screaming is the way I described my spiritual journey, kicking and screaming. And it all, And I had this view of me as being just not enough. And what I've learned, and I think it's the beauty of awakening together, is that we're called to be on this path. And it doesn't say you're called only if you do this, only if you act this way, only if you think this way, only if you show this amount of willingness, and then you're worthy to be on this path. It's no, come as you are, come prepared, come unprepared, come with knowledge, come with nothing. Just come. And the beauty of this is you can't show up wrong. You just can't. So it takes the pressure off of us. Show up or don't. It's all up to you. You've been called. You can't help but answer it. It's just up to you to answer in the way that you're ready to answer at the time. And yeah, I just want to thank you for that, because that showed up for me. And I feel like it takes me off the hook a little bit. And I appreciate this morning together. So thank you.
Reverend Deloris, thank you so much for your wonderful share, and for your forthright in your sharing. This is my first time here, and I know, in the light of awareness of who we are, as we share how we see ourselves in any given moment, we're always bringing it to the light of awareness to the whole group. And in sharing is our healing. I do appreciate your openness and your courage and your forthright in your sharing. And the material you shared here today was very valuable and priceless. And I thank you for my first time being here, for your share and for your riches that you shared with. And I really felt your heart in your sharing, and your challenges we all share together as one. Thank you so much. I'm complete.
And Joe has his hand up.
Sana, and welcome, Charles. Welcome for your first time here. And Reverend Deloris, thank you again for, like Shauna said at the beginning, recognizing the fear and doing it anyway, and just showing up, and your comments, your personal story. And thank you for asking me to read. When you asked me earlier this week, and I said yes, it wasn't until this morning when I got up and checked the date that I realized that today is it was a year ago today my dad passed away. And I mentioned that because, well, first I miss him and I love him. But my dad used to he read at church too, at Mass. He was a devout Catholic, and we were kids raised, growing up. He would volunteer. He'd be one of the readers, and he would get up there and read. And it just dawned on me this morning beforehand. I thought, criminy, I hope I can hold it together and not. So, although I'm thinking that Dad would probably be rolling over in his grave if he knew what I was reading, being a devout Catholic. We were many years ago. We were one of his grandsons. My nephew was in the hospital in the emergency room, and we were all in the waiting room. And somebody had given me a copy of Tolle's book, The Power of Now. And so I had that in there, and I'm reading it and sitting next to Dad, and he asked me what I was reading. I told him, and he said, "Does it have an imprimatur?" And I said, "A what?" He said, "An imprimatur. Has the Catholic Church approved this reading?" So that's how big a Catholic he was. But I will say real quickly, is that, of course, I read this a couple of times before, but as I was reading it today out loud, I can't remember any of them, but there were several insights that just kept dropping in. There were little changes taking place inside of me, and I'm just truly grateful for the opportunity to be here and to share in this community. So thank you again, Deloris.
Been watching our online gathering. It happens weekly on Sundays at 10:15 a.m. Eastern Time. To join us live in the sanctuary, visit our website, awakening-together.org. You'll want to click on Online Sanctuary in the main menu, and then in the drop-down menu, look for How to Enter the Sanctuary. Right there at the top of the page is a clickable link. We'd love to see you in the sanctuary and join with you in fellowship. Thank you again for watching. Also, please know that if you'd like to stay connected via the Awakening Together channel here on YouTube, you can subscribe and hit the bell for more notifications. We hope to see you in the sanctuary.